It's the PETA Podcast. I'm Emil Guillermo. It's been almost 2 years of war in Ukraine as that sovereign nation fights off an invasion by Russia. In that time, the world has only grown weary of war, especially with the new flashpoint in the Middle East. And what of the animals? To this day, PETA-Germany is still doing rescue missions to Ukraine. We reprise an episode from soon after the war began, outlining how PETA went into action for the animals, an effort that continues for as long as needed on the PETA Podcast. As the Russian war intensifies in Ukraine, volunteers are risking their lives to save abandoned animals, cats, dogs, maybe even a tiger? PETA-Germany's Sylvie Bunz says there's no time to lose. That's next on the PETA Podcast. Welcome to the PETA Podcast. I'm Emil Guillermo, your host for this inside look at animal rights. Brought to you by PETA, the largest animal rights organization in the world. On today's episode, PETA's animal rescue teams have been dispatched to Ukraine, where the humanitarian crisis is real. More than 2 million people have fled to bordering countries to escape the war, and a few of them have their animals with them. But many animals are left behind, some on the streets or in shelters, and even there, real animal food is scarce. PETA-Germany has made one run into Ukraine so far and brought back dozens of animals to vet clinics and shelters in Poland. But still, more teams have been dispatched to save animals and to bring in tons of animal food to feed starving dogs. PETA-Germany was already running a project to help more than 600,000 stray and abandoned dogs in Romania. Now it's focusing on getting help at both the Romanian and Polish borders to Ukraine. And a few brave animal rights activists are actually going into Ukraine. But it's dangerous, with the reports of at least one Ukrainian animal rights activist killed while bringing dog food to a shelter outside of Kyiv in Bucha. PETA's teams have been safe so far, according to Sylvie Bunz, PETA-Germany's special projects person. Bunz says everyone knows the danger, but the urgency is real. If we're too late, the animals are all dead, she says. Here's my conversation with PETA-Germany's Sylvie Bunz on the PETA Podcast.
At the moment, the situation is very dramatically here in Europe with the war in Ukraine. PETA is helping from 2 countries at the European Union borders. I try to explain the situation. PETA-Germany has a team of 7 people at the Polish border at the moment. Our biggest missions to save animals in Ukraine start from there because this side of Ukraine is the most peaceful at the moment. But there are also chaotic conditions. People are panicking and fleeing. More than 1 million refugees have already reached the European Union via Poland. Many bring animals with them. Our team also travels to Ukraine and rescues animals that were brought by Ukraine animal rights activists who were able to retrieve animals from deeper in the Ukraine country. All animals, like humans, are frightened, need medical attention, food, water, shelter, and rest. It's really a horrible situation. Our partner organization in Romania is the second point from which people helps refugees with animals. They provide help with passport issues for animals, vaccinate them, give them food. They help nearly all around the clock with papers and information. In addition, other partner organizations are available at the border between Romania and Ukraine to help people and animals. There is shelter for everyone who have had the chance to cross the border. And Edux Anima already sent needed goods to the border. In addition, Edux Anima will go with a known team to the border for providing help for animals who cross the line between Ukraine and Romania. Water, food, medical aid, microchipping, vaccinations, deparasitations, passports, harnesses, transport cages. Everything will start next week in a big action, because at the moment, Edux Anima is thinking that more and more refugees with animals will come next week, because we have the fear that Russia will attack Odessa and the landscape around Odessa in the next days. And this will be really horrifying.
All right. So people who are there now, they're being serviced or they're being helped, but you fear there's going to be even more people coming.
Yes, more. At the moment, most of the refugees try to come to Poland, because Poland is there is a better situation in the country in Poland. And from Poland, they want to travel to Germany, to Netherlands, to France, to all these countries that are a little bit better from their whole situations. Countries like Hungary, Romania, Slovenia, these are only countries where people transit at the moment. People don't want to stay in these countries. Romania, for example, is having their own problems, big problems. We can talk later about Romania and what PETA-Germany is doing in Romania. So it's not so interesting, not so good, not so helpful to go to other poor countries. They want to come to countries where they will have a chance.
Yeah. And because I understand that from hearing reports and people talking to Polish officials, there are places in Poland where they can stay for as long as they want. They could stay there for weeks, months. They can stay there for years if they want. But
yes,
there are still some other people who have friends outside of Poland, and they're using, Poland as a way to get to, as you say, Germany or France.
Yes.
Now, have you encountered many of the refugees yourself?
Personally, I'm in PETA's office in Germany, but I've cried here too in course of all these stories. For example, the drivers who bring the pet food to Ukraine for us, they are Ukrainians and they don't come back. On the way to the front, they brought our help into their country to bring help to their animals. I am so grateful to them, and I can hardly bear it all. The local team has a lot of contact with refugees, with animals. The stories are heartbreaking. What people and animals have to accept at the moment, it's not possible to put that into words. Men bring their wives, children, and pets to the border and have to say goodbye, maybe forever, because they have to stay in the country. We must give all the help we can create. We can only do this help from PETA, and I am very thankful to all PETA supporters to help us to do this work.
So tell me about the people driving the dog food to Ukraine. You say they're Ukrainians, and they don't come back. But are they Ukrainians who are living in Germany or in Poland, and they are going back to fight? Or so these are men going back to fight.
Yes, this is an absolutely amazing story. We have a very good contact to a company that produces pet food. And they help us at the moment with all needed papers for customs and vet authorities to get the permission to bring this food into the country. And at the moment, it is really hard to find transport companies who drive into Ukraine because there is war. It is very, very dangerous. And they have the contact to a Ukraine transport company who is driving all around Europe with these super big special Euro cargo trailers who can bring 20 foot of tons. And they say that their drivers, they are at the moment in Italy, in Spain, in Netherlands. They want to go back to their country to fight. And these men drive around Berlin to pick up the food and then bring these big transports to Ukraine for us. And then they go deeper into Ukraine to their families and to the front.
Well, and what about the trucks? The trucks are there. They own the trucks. So they are there to, after they distribute the food, the dog food,
Yes.
for PETA and other kind of supplies, then they go to war.
Yes, they go to war. And this Ukraine transport company, one of the trucks cost about 400,000 euros. And they say, at the moment, money means nothing. The only thing we need in Ukraine is peace and freedom. So we have to fight for that. And it's not important if my company can rescue the transport car.
Yeah.
We need to go to Ukraine. We need to fight, and we need this transport car in Ukraine, maybe for Ukraine military. I don't know. I don't know what they are doing with the transport car.
But there is that sense of mutual sacrifice for peace among all European nations that you're dealing with.
Yes. Yes, everybody wants that freedom will come back to Ukraine. It's a horrible situation with this war.
And so this is the men who are driving the transport. Now, what about the women who and their children? They come to the border. PETA volunteers are witnessing how the men are dropping off their wives and children and then going back.
Yes.
What is the life like for the women and children once they're in Poland? Do many of them stay in Poland, or are they making their way up to Germany where you are?
Everything is possible at the moment. So at the moment, they are full of fear. They have nothing. They only have the jeans and the jacket they are wearing. And they have their children and their animals sometimes. And they come to the border. And on the European side of the border, there's a lot of humanitarian help for all people and for all animals. So most of them are very tired and very feared. They first go to places where they can rescue a little bit, and then everything is well organized, where they can travel to, where they can come to, where they can live the upcoming weeks, months, or maybe forever. Nobody knows at the moment. So here in Germany, we already have, I think in Berlin yesterday, there have been 200,000 refugees who already arrived. A lot of them are at Poland at the moment, but most of them will also go to other countries.
Now, I talked to one of the PETA workers, Judith, and she mentioned how she was at the border and then went in. She helped people there at the Polish Ukrainian border, and then she went in to Lviv because there were some animals. Stray animals that were then sent to the shelter. How did that work out? And is Judith and the workers and are the animals, are they all safe? What happened?
A mission this morning started. They have driven to Ukraine, to Lviv, with 2 PETA cars and 1 animal ambulance. We have a big cooperation with a very good veterinary clinic at the Polish border. And they gave us their animal rescue van to take it in our mission to Lviv to help the animals. And they are there at the moment. At the moment, it's 5 p.m. in Germany and in Ukraine, and they are still there. Dogs and cats are coming. They put them into cages, put them into all cars. We also will rescue some people, some women. I think 3 women, but I'm not sure at the moment because the mission changes every half an hour. There are new information, and they now have to hurry up because when it's starting to getting dark in 2 hours, they need to be back at the highway, the so-called highway. The streets are very bad in Ukraine. Highway back to the border. And at the border, there are many cars. The last mission took at the border about 30 hours to come back to Poland because there is much traffic at the border and all these refugees who want to go to Poland. And you have to be very calm and peaceful, and you have to wait hour and hour to hour. But then animals and humans in our transport and our convoy are safe. But at the moment, they are on mission, in Ukraine.
Sounds like it could be potentially pretty dangerous because it's in a war zone, really. I mean,
yes, it is. It is dangerous, of course. This part of Ukraine is at the moment the most peaceful part. But in a country where is war, what means peaceful? The situation can change immediately. So it is very dangerous. But PETA-Germany's team is willing to help animals and people in need. Everybody is willing to help at the moment. And we have the possibilities to help because we have a great team, and they will do all they can to rescue as much animals and humans they can.
Well, explain that for a moment, because as people hear that, many of our listeners are in the United States, and they watch the news, and they may feel like, oh, we would like to do something if we only could, but Ukraine, from the East Coast is about 5,000 miles away from where I am. I'm in California. I'm 8,000 miles away from you. And so explain just the feeling of, the PETA folks who are there now in Ukraine doing this, knowing how dangerous it is. Explain to our listeners why they feel like it is so necessary to do this work now.
It is so important to do it, even if it is dangerous, because there is no time to lose. The situation in Ukraine is horrible at the moment, and we need to rescue as much animals and, of course, humans as possible, because if nobody would come to help, they all would die. So every cat, every dog, every woman, every child. And there are also some Ukraine animal rights activists who could rescue some tigers and lions from the burning zoo in Kiev and bring them to a peaceful place. If nobody would help, nobody would have a chance in this country. It is really horrifying what is happening in the middle of Europe. For us, it feels like the middle of Europe, even if it's not part of the European Union. Yeah. But Ukraine, from my office, Ukraine is just about 2,000 kilometers far away. It's 20 hours by car. So this is very close to us. Romania has borders to Ukraine. So we are very close to Romania, and we are close to all these countries. We have friends in Ukraine since many years, because PETA always helped in Ukraine, because the situation for animals is never easy there, because people are very poor. So we are helping in Ukraine since a lot of years, and now the situation is dangerous and everything changed from 1 minute to another. People lose all they have.
I guess because of proximity, PETA-Germany being there, you are PETA's representative for that entire region, not just Germany, but for, as you say, Ukraine and
yes,
and Romania and all those countries around there, because you are there, and it must be the feeling of responsibility must be great at this point.
Yes, it is a big feeling of responsibility. And if we would not help at the moment, it would make us all very, very sad. We are very, very happy that PETA has the possibility to help in that way. At the moment, I think I cannot verify 100% because the situation of info is very complicated. But at the moment, I think we are the only ones who brought so much animal food into Ukraine, because it is so complicated to enter the border to Ukraine. So we have the chance to help. We could already bring 40 tons of food, and we will bring food to Odessa. They will start at the moment or tomorrow morning. We have to wait for the final papers. Nobody is bringing hope at the moment to Odessa. They don't have animal food since many days. And we are in contact with some wonderful woman from the shelter of Odessa. And they promised us they will stay with their animals. They will not leave them. And at the moment, they have some food for humans. They have a little bit of storage, but they don't have anything for the animals. So they share their human food with the cats and the dogs. And they said they will live together or they will die together. So if we don't bring them food, they will all die. It's it's horrible.
Yeah.
So I know we have no time to lose at the moment. If our transport will not start, they will need 3 days driving through Romania and the Republic of Moldova to the border of Ukraine near to Odessa. If we come too late, they are all dead.
Yeah. Yeah. You have to go through Romania and Moldova to get to
Yes.
Odessa. It's sort of like the roundabout way because
Yes.
it'll be safer.
It is not possible to drive through Ukraine because there is not enough, diesel.
Yeah.
There's no chance to drive that many kilometers with a big transport car. They have no chance to fuel their big transport cars. So they have to drive all around the borders. They have to drive through Poland, Hungary, Romania, into the Republic of Moldova. And there, the transport company needs to cross the border with all these complicated papers they need. And then the transport company, when they arrive in Ukraine, the women already organized a transport to a meeting point because the transport company cannot drive to Odessa. It's too dangerous for them. This time it's not a driver from Ukraine. He's from another country. He wants to live. He wants to go back. So these women are organizing a transport by a lot of smaller transports and car, and they will unpack 33 pallets with animal food. This is 20,000 kilograms. They will take it, put it into other cars, and will drive the 2 hours back to Odessa to feed all the animals in the shelter and to give food to all the people who love their animals and who cannot feed them at the moment.
Wow, what an effort. What an effort. And
yes.
And if it wasn't being done, there would
they
be no
would die.
No.
There is no food. They have no food since 3 days.
So
no food at all. And nobody is going to Odessa to help. Nobody. If PETA wouldn't help, nobody can help at the moment.
It's heartbreaking from afar. I can't imagine how you guys must feel there. If people listening want to help, what can they do to help? The people are trying to raise money and funds. Is there a way that our listeners can help the effort?
At the moment, to be honest, the best people can do is to donate to PETA's Global Compassion Fund, because to help, we need the money to pay all these transports and all the food for the animals and the team at the border and all things we buy over there. For example, all the bills that will come from this veterinary clinic at the Polish border. PETA-Germany will pay all these bills. Nobody in Poland can finance it to give the medical help to so many animals. And we castrate them at this veterinary clinic, and we bring them to good places where they will have a very good life the next years. So the best thing people can do at the moment is to donate to PETA's Global Compassion Fund.
Yeah, and that's a great idea. We'll put it on the show notes of our podcast. The other thing, though, is that I know you have a team there now trying to take out some animals to bring back to Poland and then to distribute from there. But they can only bring so many. Can you estimate maybe 100 animals or?
We already rescued 136 during the last days, and together they hopefully can rescue between 40 and 80 animals. And we help all the animals crossing the border at this spot we are at the moment. And we hope we can do this work the upcoming days or weeks. I cannot tell you at the moment because nobody knows if the regulations will change. it can happen that there will come a day and they say it's not allowed to take animals out of Ukraine, or it's not allowed to drive into Ukraine for people from European Union countries. Every day we have a new situation. Everything is changing all the time.
Yeah, and
it's really complicated to organize all this help. But I have one good news. I just received a WhatsApp message a short time before we both talked, and I've heard that animals from Kiev could be rescued. And these animals from Kiev, 15 cats, I think, and some dogs, they have been brought to our meeting point 80 kilometers behind the Ukraine border from Ukraine animal rescuers. And we will take these animals from Kiev to Poland today.
Wow. And, we were talking earlier about the situation in Lviv, which is one of the safer areas. Yeah. Now you're talking about Kyiv, which is not one of the safer areas.
No.
It must be pretty dangerous just to save these 15 or 20 animals.
Yes, this was very dangerous. Today we got the very, very sad news that 4 animal rescuers from a Ukraine organization, and this info is verified, have been shot near Kiev when they wanted to feed some homeless animals. They have been shot down from the Russian military. Oh. So the situation is very, very dangerous in this area, but there are brave people, and they took some animals and some humans, and they had a car, and they made it. They are in Lviv at the moment. They are safe.
And all the animal lovers there in Europe are united and together and committed to saving as many as they can.
Yes, we are. And we are really helping each other at the moment. We did one mission together with White Paw, a very good organization from Germany who's working in Ukraine for more than 20 years. They are friends of PETA. And we did a mission with Viva Poland, the biggest organization from Poland, helping animals organization. And together we rescue more than 100 animals. So everybody is helping everybody in the moment as good as everybody can. We are doing all what we can to help, because if we don't help, nobody will help. If we don't help, they are all lost.
I should leave it there, but you mentioned Kyiv, and you mentioned the prospects of the big cats and the prospects of animals in zoos. Is that something that's upcoming, that maybe there could be some animals saved at zoos? Because I know that from talking to PETA people who have been in Ukraine, they pass by all these the farms and the stables with farm animals, and there's nothing they can do there. But the shelter, the animals in shelters, the animals who are strays, who are abandoned and then brought to the shelters, that's something that can be done. But what about those zoo animals in Kyiv? Is that a possible thing that down the road, or is it in the works?
It is in the works. We are animals from Ukraine. They rescued as much as animals they could from the burning zoo in Kiev. There was a bomb. The bomb smashed the zoo, and a lot of animals died. And of course, it's very, it's horrible. I say horrible all the time because it is horrible. And there are so many animals, chickens, cows, and all these animals. What we could do and can do, we started an info campaign in Ukraine language and in Russian language, and pushed it onto websites in Ukraine, news websites. And this campaign asks people to open all stables, that the animals are not starving inside. And we had a second information campaign that people should not leave animals alone, that they need help and their companion humans. This campaign was really successful. It had more than 1 million clicks during some days. And this is very good in times where it is very, very complicated to send infos into Ukraine. So we hope that this campaign reached a lot of people and maybe made this click in their brain not to leave the animals without help and not in stables that are closed. But it is not possible to help them all, to be honest. It's not possible.
But if the animals run free, then they're just running free in the pasture, in the farming.
Yes, they are. Yeah. Yes, there are. I'm sorry, there's nothing better I can say about this situation, because there is nearly no chance to rescue cows or chicken and to bring them to European Union. There are so many laws. Yeah. It's not possible to bring them over the border. It's even not possible when there is peace. But in these times, nobody at the border would let us allow to cross the border with 100 cows or 1 million chicken.
Yeah. So Sylvie, I appreciate the update and sharing this with our listeners on the PETA podcast. But my final question really is, how do you, as a PETA veteran overseeing this effort, how are you dealing with this, knowing that it's so difficult and also so dangerous?
I want our team to be safe, the team who is on site. And at the moment, me in person, I have no feelings about me. I only have the thoughts about the people and the animals in Ukraine, and I'm making plans together with PETA-Germany how we can help the best way. I am not important at the moment. And I think this is what all PETA staff is thinking at the moment. They all try all they can do. They are working all around the clock, Edux Anima in Romania and PETA in Germany. The staff and the team, they are really wonderful and helpful and reachable all the time. And everybody in his team is doing what is possible at the moment.
And how are you holding up, just in terms of just knowing that it's not impossible? You can make a difference just by being there. But there must be some moments when you feel like, oh my goodness.
Yes, of course, there are these moments. But me in person, I'm a bit used to this, because I know even if PETA is doing as much as possible, there are always a lot of animals who die in several causes. And I'm the leader of our project in Romania since more than 3 years. So I know how hard it is to rescue animals and to change political systems and education. And I know how important it is for all of us to see the ones we help, to see the ones we rescue, to see the political changes we can do step by step everywhere. So this is what I see. And I know Ingrid said some time ago that when you are sad, take this energy and put it into something good for the animals, because it's okay to cry, but it doesn't help anybody if you don't get new, fresh energy to help animals. And we all at PETA help animals as good as we can everywhere in the world. There are so many wonderful projects PETA's Global Compassion Fund is financing to help animals.
So you must get some comfort knowing that in your work in Romania, if you could just briefly describe the effort there, because that's a neighboring country to Ukraine. And
yes.
While Ukraine has fallen it hasn't fallen, but it's under attack by Russia, you've had this successful effort in Romania to save animals that have been abandoned in that country.
Yes. Do you want to know a little bit about the work in Romania?
Just a little bit to because I know that you gain hope from the successes and the
Yes, I do.
and the effort.
Yes, I do.
The effort in Romania is one of those successes.
Yes, it is. So I need to describe the situation a little bit. In Romania, there are around about 600,000 homeless dogs and thousands of cats to struggle to survive in Romania every day. Annually, tens of thousands of dogs are caught and placed in city shelters or killing centers. In these facilities in Romania, there is usually a lack of animal-friendly feed, not enough space, no protection from the freezing cold. And most of the animals are not castrated and they continue multiplying in the shelters. But this is not the whole problem. More than 6 million dogs and countless of cats lead a life full of deprivation, although they have owners. Most of the dogs are on short chains without protection from the heat and cold. They have a horrible life. Romania has a very, very poor structure. It's very close to Ukraine from the standard. So since 2018, PETA-Germany runs this wonderful project in Romania. We work closely with authorities and politicians to change law, make animal cruelty public, and to gradually establish ethical management of homeless animals. Only together we can move forward. We bring animal welfare lessons to Romanian schools. In this way, children and young people learn how important it is to develop empathy for animals. And we translated a lot of PETA Kids material into Romanian and bring this to the classes, and the children love it.
And then there a lot of these dogs are on short chains.
Yes.
So they're not brought inside. They're not treated as animal companions. And so
yes,
it sounds like the real effort is in showing people that they need to develop a kind of empathy.
A kind of empathy and to change the political system. It is very, very important in Romania to establish an ethical management of the homeless dogs. And we are working on this very intensively, and we have little steps. It's getting better step by step, but it will take a lot of years. And of course, we help more than 8,000 animals every year.
Yeah.
And this is very important for us to bring castration and medical help to them. And we see step by step what is changing, but we will need a lot of years till the whole system has changed.
But let me just get the number straight.
There are 600,000.
600,000.
Yes, almost. Between 600 and 800,000 homeless animals, homeless dogs in Romania. The COVID pandemic made the situation even harder.
And these dogs are they're not in shelters, they're just roaming?
No. They are roaming free. And that's better than being in a Romanian shelter. Most of the Romanian shelters, there are 174 official Romanian shelters, and nearly all of them are the horrible places I've ever seen in my life. So it's better to roam free, but it's a hard life. And they are not castrated. They multiply all the time. They are very ill.
So
they do not have enough food.
These are feral dogs.
Yes. They are.
Wild dogs in Romania.
Yes. And that's the cause why castration is so important in countries like Romania, Hungary, Ukraine, and many other countries in this area. So that's the cause why at the moment there are not much animals coming to Romania, because Ukraine animal rescuers know how the situation in Romania is for dogs, and they don't want the dogs to come from one horrible situation into the next. Of course, at the moment, all private shelter, they made a little bit of space for dogs from Ukraine, but Romania is a country that needs help. And
so everyone goes to Poland. That's why people are going to Poland.
Yes, that's the cause why people want to go to Poland, Germany, and these countries. Romania, the people only use Romania for transit at the moment to go to other countries.
Right. And so the project you're running in Romania that was happening before the crisis in Ukraine has been successful because you've been able to make some inroads with the politicians and the kids, you said, teaching in school, but also in the number of dogs you've been able to spay and neuter and also to help.
Yes, it is very successful. These are little steps, but these are important steps. And of course, there are also other NGOs in Romania who castrate dogs and cats. But nobody else is doing such a kind of political work like we do. We really have wonderful partner on site in Romania. It's Edux Anima. And this is so important in Romania. It's important that Romanians want to change the Romanian system. It doesn't work that Germans are coming and say, hey, you have to change your system. It's cruel what you are doing to animals. That wouldn't work. This did never work anywhere in the world. So it must be, it is important that Romanians work political, and PETA always is in their back, and we do letters together, meetings, plans, concepts, and all this work that PETA is doing is also Edux Anima doing in Romania. They are really wonderful, and the project is growing. And we are very happy. Soon in March, we will get our first mobile clinic. And we will be very proud to see this mobile clinic helping animals.
So that's significant good news that you can draw from. Good news in Romania.
Yes.
Balancing out. Let's see. We don't know how much longer the situation in Ukraine how it will drag out. Hopefully it can end soon in peace, but
we can only hope.
We can only hope.
Yes, we can only hope. And when there is peace, they will need PETA-Germany and PETA's Global Compassion Fund to rebuild all that's damaged now.
Right. Shelters have been damaged.
Shelters have been damaged. Houses, places for animals. There will be so many homeless dogs and cats who will give birth to, oh God, I don't know, so many unwanted animals because they are all not castrated and they have no home anymore, and their people are refugees and left them in the country. There will be a lot of work for the next years and years and years.
But now you have the experience in Romania to learn from, so you know.
Yes.
You know how to deal with that. Oh, the work continues.
Yes, I hope. Yeah.
But I hope we have peace first. Peace.
Yes, I also hope we have peace first. This is it's horrible what's happening.
Well, Sylvie Bunz, PETA-Germany, I appreciate your time and I appreciate your efforts there. I'm sure all the animal lovers who are listening to this, support all that you're doing there and all that the PETA-Germany folks are doing, trying to save the animals there in Ukraine. So thank you, Sylvie, for being with us.
Thank you very much, Emil, for talking to me. And I excuse myself for my bad English. I'm a bit stressed and my German accent is horrible at the moment when I'm stressed.
No, forgive me my American accent.
Okay. Okay.
And I love your dog has chimed in.
Yes, he wants to go out. I have no time for my own dogs at the moment, rescuing all the animals in Ukraine, but normally my dogs understand the situation and they are very quiet. But I have 5 rescued dogs and 1 needs to go out.
Okay, and please let us know what happens with the situation in Lviv and in Kyiv.
Yes.
And how successful those operations have been. So thank you, Sylvie Bunz.
Thank you, Emil. Goodbye.
Okay.
Goodbye. Thanks to all who helped PETA to help in Ukraine.
Sylvie Bunz of PETA-Germany on the PETA effort to help the abandoned animals left behind in Ukraine. You can help the effort by giving to PETA's Global Compassion Fund right now. For more, go to PETA.org. And that's our show for today. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to send a link of this show to your friends. Tell them you like the PETA Podcast. Contact us at PETA.org. You can find me on Twitter at Emil Amok, that's EMILAMOK, or see my vlog at AMOK.com, or see my work at ALDEF, the Asian American Legal Defense and Education Fund. That's at ALDEF, AALDEF.org/blog. Once again, thank you for listening. Check out all our episodes on your favorite podcast app or on Apple Podcasts, where you can subscribe to as well as rate and review the show. It helps get the word out about the issues you care about. Our music is provided by Carbon Works. Check them out on YouTube. And join us again next time for more insight into animal rights and the fight for a cruelty-free world on the PETA Podcast. I'm Emil Guillermo.